Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. Of course, we're back here at Walker Ford, Clearwater, Florida, and I have a sinister looking muscle car for you. It's this vehicle right here. This is a murdered out 2024 Mustang GT. But before we get into the last performance pony car standing, let's talk about what's going on here. So of course, when people think of American V8 performance, a lot of times they're going to think of the new C8 Corvette. And without a doubt, the C8 Corvette Stingray, even in base form, has been a knockout. A knockout when it comes to pricing, when it comes to performance, and of course, style. But does that necessarily make it the better car? Just performance? Because I'll tell you right now, at the end of the day, the Stingray is the better performer than this Mustang behind me. But does that make it a bad thing for the Mustang? So what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a V8 experience in your performance car and you want something visceral, do you go Stingray or do you go Mustang GT? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, it just looks mean and lean, being totally blacked out, except for those ginormous bright red Brembo calipers, because this does have the optional brake performance package. Now at the front of the business, because it is black, it makes everything blend in so nicely. And I love the way on the blackout package, which this one has, they even black out the interior of the headlight housing, full LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps, and your turn signals. Working your way down, I still got to zonk the fake vent. And that's something on the Stingray. All the vents up front are functional. There isn't anything that is fake on the front of the Stingray. So that one kind of just makes me a little sad because it looks good. I just wish that it did something. Now, as we come across the front, because this does have the blackout package, you are getting the blacked out pony, gloss black on the grille because it is a Mustang GT, and then the shadow black, which is the color of this car, on the lower lip with the flat black lower grille. But I really feel if you're looking for a sinister look, going shadow black and then also getting the blackout package on top of that, it really doesn't look meaner than you can't get any meaner than the front end of this car. And it's one of those things, when you're comparing it to the front of a Corvette, it looks good. I like the front end of a Corvette. I just feel like this is more traditional, right? This is how a Mustang you expect it to look. Now, as we rise up, you got that big aircraft carrier hood because the engine is still where it's always been since 1965. Underneath the hood, you're gonna get the gloss black on your heat extractors. And then coming around the bend, it's interesting what they add when you go blackout package, because you're gonna get these gloss black split spoke wheels. Interesting because the wheel size is not what you think it's going to be. And basically what you're looking at with this setup is you're looking at a 19-inch wheel, not a 20-inch wheel. You would think that they would add a 20-inch wheel, they don't. And then another thing that they do is they add Continental all seasons. That's not gonna give you a lot of grip there. It's gonna be fun for a smoky burnout, not for grip. So I'm a little disappointed by that, but tire size up front, you're looking at 255 on the width, 40 series sidewall, and like I promised you, this one has the optional Brembo brake package. You actually have different colors you could choose from. I like the red. I know that is traditional, but with the black, it just pops nicely. And these calipers, these 6-piston calipers are as big as Ronald McDonald's freaking head. That's what I think about when I see these, is Ronald McDonald's head with his big red hair. And I do like the way it's got the Mustang badge on the caliper. Now coming down the side, blackout package, you're gonna have the blacked out 5.0 badge. 5050 gotta go with a little bit of red right on the decimal. Normally on the blackout package, you would have a blacked out roof, which we do, but because ours is shadow black, it's already done. It's already a done deal being blacked out. But just something to know that if you get a white car, the roof is going to be black. Gloss black on your mirror caps with your LED turn signals, shadow black on your door handles, and then I do like the way they do the flat black along the lower sill. Now, with the performance brake package, and not just the calipers up front, look at the meaty calipers out back. You have 4-piston Brembo calipers out back. And then if you're wondering what is this is actually the caliper for your emergency brake. So just something to realize, it's not like you have dual braking capability. This is for the electric e-brake, just so you know. But like I said, 255s all 4 corners. I wish the rear wheels were just a little wider, maybe get some 275s, because this thing's got some power. Be nice to get the power to the ground. And that's the thing is, with the Corvette being a mid-engine, it gets the power to the ground pretty effectively. Now when we swing it around back, the blackout package gets you a black trunklet spoiler, just enough to make things interesting. We got our blacked out GT badge, and I love the sequential taillights. I mean, that just is classic Mustang all day long. Working our way down, you got a good looking rear diffuser, and that is the Ford Performance active exhaust. You can make it louder, you can make it quieter. I say just let everybody know you still got a V8 and let this thing roar. But I love the slash cut, nice round openings, and they're even staggered a little bit just to make them look even more badass. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood so we could compare numbers between the Stingray and this Mustang. All right guys, underneath the hood we got a V8, and that's the only similarity between the Mustang GT and the C8 Stingray, is that they're both V8s. But let's talk about the one in this Mustang. What you have is that Coyote engine, tried and true, 5-liter, updated for 2024 to now produce 486 horsepower, 418 pound-feet of torque. Ours is mated to a 10-speed automatic, but you can get a 6-speed manual. 0 to 60 in about 3.9 seconds, quarter mile in 12.3 seconds at 116 miles an hour, top speed 155 miles an hour. And the Mustang and the Corvette, believe it or not, weigh pretty close to the same. 3,947 pounds, about 15 mpgs in the city, 23 on the highway. Now what's fascinating is that this is a quad cam engine, an overhead cam engine. That means the cams are up top. What that does is it allows the engine to rev freer because you don't have push rods, you don't have rocker arms like the old school LT2 6.2 liter V8 underneath the engine cover. That means this has a higher redline, 7,500 RPM compared to about 6,700 RPM in the Corvette. But the Corvette, like I said, hands down, it's got more horsepower. It's got 490 horsepower. So not a lot more, but it definitely does have more, and it uses an 8-speed DCT transmission, a dual clutch transmission, where this 10-speed is a more traditional torque converter transmission. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this V8 and see if it sounds better than the Corvette. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 black on black on black with red calipers, those Brembo calipers, on this Mustang GT. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, lay it on me. I want some V8 in my life. There's these days I wake up in the morning and I'm like, damn, I should have had a V8. And I'm not talking about the can of tomato juice. I'm talking about muscle underneath my right foot when I go on throttle. How much is this? Well, remember, if you're looking at a Stingray, C8 Stingray, base Stingray starts at around $69,000. This, the way that it's optioned with the blackout package, with the nicer interior, you're looking at an MSRP of $57,000. So quite a bit of extra money to play with if we're gonna do some modifications. But why don't we see what you're getting for the new Mustang? To the door panels. I just like the simple look. I'm fine with it. The nice soft touch material, the stitching, even the way they did that laser etching design in the black to almost make it look like carbon fiber. It's tasteful, it doesn't look tacky, and you got a good sized door pocket to where you could get 2 beef and cheddars and the freaking horsey sauce in there, no problem. Now going from the door panel to the dash, love that Mustang nameplate. Remember, even though the Corvette's been around for longer, the Mustang has been continuous from 1965 all the way to now. You got more of that laser etched trim. I love the contrast stitching. They even went with nicer material down below. Extra stitching goes a long way. And then you're gonna get a larger infotainment system screen. So this is a 13.2 inch screen compared to the C8 Corvette. It has that smaller 8-inch screen. You got the new Sync 4 operating software, and then all of your adjustments are in the screen, which is a bit of a zonk, like the AC controls. But you do get heated seats, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. My favorite part is when we go to the home screen here, I'm gonna hit features. My Mustang. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. There's our Mustang. Spin it around. You got auxiliary gauges. You got track apps. They got you covered here. And you got different cluster themes. Working our way down, you do have that easy access start stop button. Easy access other switch gear, but no AC controls. You got to go through the screen to work the AC controls, which I do not like. Down below, USB-C, USB-A, 12 volt, wireless charging. A place to put more horsey sauce for your beef and cheddars. This is going to control your 10-speed automatic, or you can get a 6-speed manual. 2 cup holders, electric e-brake, soft touch. Open this up, you got another 12 volt, and this is where you're going to want to put those classic Hot Wheels that you used to collect as a kid. I have to admit, so my brothers and sisters, my younger brothers and sisters, trashed pretty much everything that I ever owned, especially my prized Hot Wheels collection. I remember as a kid, when I was 5 years old, my favorite one was this bright red Ferrari 308. And for years, I would think about that car because it was broken into a million pieces. Believe it or not, I went on eBay just by chance and I found it. And I was able to get, still in the package from the 1970s, and I would definitely keep it in there away from my brothers and sisters and their kids, because their kids are worse than they were when they were kids. Leather, super soft, the stitching, the bolstering, electric adjustment for the bottom, but manual for the back, which is definitely a zonk. But what's nice is I could do this. I could show you that this does have a decent sized back seat. Not as small as the Camaro, but not as large as the Challenger. It's definitely got larger rear seats than the Corvette. You know why? You're right. The Corvette doesn't have rear seats. Almost got you. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a flat bottom steering wheel I want to show you in this Mustang. Hi guys, business time behind the wheel. You do get 3 memory seat settings only for the bottom on the driver's side. I also love this sill plate with the Mustang name that illuminates LED at night. Pedal box is okay. I like the pedal box better in the C8. Aluminum brake pedal, aluminum throttle. I just wish they would give me an aluminum dead pedal here, but you got the aluminum brake, aluminum throttle, which I guess is half the equation. I do like the way you got lower lumbar. I just wish the back was power. I don't know why they do that. And don't give me some lame reason about if you're in an accident and the passenger needs to get out, it's better to have the manual. So that means like Mercedes, Audi, and all these other brands that have full electric seats just want the rear seat passengers to die. Is that what you're saying? I don't believe it. Sitting here though, plenty of room. And then the steering wheel, I like the wheel in the Corvette more. And the reason why is I don't like this updated Mustang. I wish they would just do the classic one like on the front. And this part here is kind of bothering me. I just don't like the material. But I do love the way you got your mode selector right here on the steering wheel. And then you do have plastic paddles, not metal, which is a zonk, to go up and down that 10-speed automatic. And then I know Steven loves that large 12.3-inch digital display because he could see it very easily. And then look at the modes. It's like Gran Turismo. All the car experts out there that know all of their knowledge from video games are gonna feel right at home behind the wheel of this Mustang GT. Look at that. Forza. But other than that, the screens are definitely larger than what's in the Corvette. I just wish they were kind of nestled rather than just stuck on to the dash. But why don't we go ahead? We got a trunk. Let's go see what we could put in it in this Mustang GT. All right, guys. Now I know for some reason when it comes to Corvettes, like where you could put your golf clubs is very important, that the engineers and designers made sure you could get your bag of golf clubs in there. When you go Mustang, it's not even a question. You have more room than you do in the Corvette, of course. 15 cubic feet of space. The seats do fold down, so you could actually bring multiple bags of golf clubs. Plus, you could be the envy of all your golf buddies, and instead of, you know, having to hold on to your balls, you could put your balls in the trunk. Because even with the subwoofer back here, you do have plenty of room for your balls. The one thing you're not gonna get is a spare. Just like in the C8, there is no spare. You get a can of flat fix and an electric air compressor. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, well, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go where the rubber meets the road and go on throttle in this Mustang GT. All right, guys, we left Walker Ford. We're in this 2024 Mustang GT. I have it in track mode. We have that Ford Performance exhaust all the way opened up. And it's an interesting proposition, right? Comparing this to a C8 Stingray. Not a Z51 equipped Stingray, just a standard level Stingray, because this definitely comes in at the cheaper price point, but obviously from a performance standpoint, you are getting more performance out of the C8. But it's interesting because it's not so cut and dry. This experience in this Mustang GT, having that large V8 where it normally is up front underneath that hood, having the Brembo brake calipers, having all those goodies really does create a classic muscle car driving experience. Whereas the Corvette, being a mid-engine, things aren't the same anymore as they used to be on all the other generations of the Corvette. Visibility is great in here, and you can't deny the sound of that V8. And that's one of the things that's so bizarre, is that when you go on throttle, and you'll see when we go on throttle, this Mustang GT is actually louder than the Corvette. So kind of crazy to think about, especially because the V8 in the Corvette is right behind your freaking head. So just very interesting how that all plays out in engine placement, headers, exhaust, the length of the piping, all that stuff is going to play into the acoustic sound that you hear. Now, when it comes from a technology standpoint, the Corvette's got some great tech. It's just that if you want larger screen size, you're going to have to go with the Mustang GT with that 13.2-inch screen. It wins against the screen, the 8-inch screen in the Stingray. All of the touch points in here have been greatly improved upon, especially the sides of the center console. Like I showed you earlier, you got tons of different modes depending on where you're going to take the vehicle, what you're going to do with the vehicle. Plus, it's cool how they're doing that classic gauge arrangement if you're in the mood for something, say, 60s Fox body, or even that SVT Cobra. Now, of course, it's not going to feel as cramped in here because it is larger, but it is fascinating about how the weight is pretty similar. You would think that the Corvette would be a lot lighter, and the C8 Corvette is nothing that includes lightness. It's gotten heavy, just like everything else has. Pulling away from the light, you do have great throttle action. They've improved the steering feel in this S650 Mustang. And hands down, this is gonna be the more comfortable car to drive overall. And I know, listen, I know that the C8 is the better performer. It just is. It's the better performer. But does not necessarily make it the car that everybody should have. Everybody driving a C8. I'm not too sure about that. I really think that it's nice to have other options. And there's plenty of different driving experience, driving engagement in this car compared to the C8. But yes, if you want the all-out, faster 0 to 60, faster top speed, all those things, the Corvette is going to be the way to go. But with that being said, if you are just a Mustang kind of person or a muscle car kind of person, and because the Camaro is gone, because the Challenger is gone, this is something that you are gravitating towards. Not only are you going to be able to get in at a lower price point on a Mustang GT compared to a standard Stingray, overall modifications and everything is going to be a lot cheaper. But let's go ahead and see how this Mustang drives. Now what's great is with the 10-speed on the downshifts, you're getting the flips of the throttle, which is great to keep the chassis nice and stable. And like I said, hands down, it's the sound of that V8. It's the sound of that V8. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Glorious. Nice. It's really a smooth shifting experience, and the transmission is so much better. Now, with that being said, I do like the 8-speed DCT in the C8 Corvette, and it does do the shifting better. But let's go on throttle real quick. Coming to a slowdown. On throttle, here we go. Love that linear torque. Look at this. Here we go. On throttle. There it is. Fast shifts like a machine gun. And then you look down at the speedometer and you're like, whoa. I tell you, there's just something a little bit more raw about the experience in the Mustang, a little bit more menacing than in the Mustang. The Corvette is definitely the more polished car, and you just feel everything a little bit more in this Mustang GT than you do the C8. But we're gonna go on throttle again. You ready? Let's put in a manual shift mode here, and then I'm gonna slow down a little bit. Second gear. On throttle, here we go, look at that. I love the way the tack changes colors as you go through the rev range. You get a nice large gear indicator. And the dash, even though she's not a looker, from an actual visual standpoint, this is the better dash than what's in the C8 Corvette. But you got nice fast downshifts. You ready? Second gear. On throttle, here we go. That nice high revving V8 all the way up to 7,500 RPM. You ready? Here we go. We're gonna do it again. On throttle. Look at this. Still plenty fast. And like I said, I think you're just feeling it a little bit more in this vehicle. You're not as low. I think that has definitely something to do with it. And it's just it's a larger vehicle overall, and I don't know. I love the fact that it's a more visceral experience. But handling has been improved for 2024, no doubt about that. love the sound of the Coyote, man. It's a great sounding engine. Really, really nice. And the fact that you can make it louder, you can make it quieter. Very, very nice to have that active exhaust. On throttle! Look at this. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of what the Mustang GT is bringing for 2024 compared to a C8 Stingray. We're gonna go ahead and get back to Walker Ford and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another muscle kind of day here. And when I talk about the muscle, I'm not talking about these guns. I'm talking about the muscle underneath the hood of that Mustang. Definitely want to thank the muscle here at Walker Ford. That's gonna be Frank Walker, Weston Walker, and Tracy, getting us access to this murdered out Mustang GT. Let me know what you think in that comment section. Are you gonna go more Mustang and save yourself some money and maybe do some mods down the road? Or are you gonna go C8 Stingray and spend a little bit more, but you also get a bit more? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Gotta give it up to the Flood, man. I'm hoping he'll make the water stay far, far away from where we're at right now for a multitude of different reasons. But show Steven some love in the comment section. Thank you, Steven, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.